The sun was bright and golden that morning, streaming through the leaves of the forest like melted honey. Birds chirped merrily, butterflies danced above wildflowers, and a light breeze carried the scent of pine and dew. It was the kind of day that made you believe nothing bad could ever happen. On such a morning, two close friends, Ravi and Arjun, were walking along a forest path. They had been best friends since childhood, or at least that's what they both liked to think. They grew up in the same village, played under the same banyan tree, and shared countless secrets. But as they got older, something had quietly changed. Ravi was bold and cheerful, always ready to help others and always believing the best in people. Arjun, on the other hand, had become cautious, sometimes too cautious. He liked to think he was realistic, but in truth, fear often guided his choices. That morning, they were traveling through the forest to a nearby town to sell their goods. Ravi carried a small bundle of handmade ropes and wooden toys, while Arjun had a bag of fruits from his family's orchard. "Do you think we'll make it before sunset?" Ravi asked, squinting at the distant hills. "If we keep walking, yes," Arjun replied, though his tone was distracted. "But this forest gives me the creeps. My grandfather used to say wild animals still live here." Ravi laughed. "Arjun, you worry too much. We've walked this path before. Nothing ever happens." "Maybe not yet," Arjun muttered. As they walked deeper into the forest, the cheerful sounds faded. The air grew thick and still. The chirping birds disappeared, replaced by a heavy silence that made the rustling of their footsteps sound louder than usual. Ravi noticed Arjun's growing unease and smiled. "Relax, my friend. Even if a tiger comes, I'll protect you." Arjun forced a smile, but his heart was pounding. He wasn't as brave as Ravi, and he knew it. Hours passed, and the forest canopy thickened. Shadows stretched across the path. Then, suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees. Both men froze. "What was that?" Arjun whispered. Ravi's eyes darted around. "Stay calm. It's probably nothing." But then the sound came again, louder, closer, followed by the snap of a branch. From the corner of his eye, Ravi saw movement. A massive bear emerged from behind the bushes. Its fur was dark and coarse, its eyes glinted like amber fire, and its snout twitched as it caught their scent. Arjun's blood ran cold. A bear. Oh no, what do we do? Ravi's first thought was to climb a tree, but before he could suggest it, Arjun was already running fast, without a word. Ravi turned, shocked. "Arjun, wait," but his friend didn't look back. He darted toward the nearest tree, climbed up in panic, and pulled himself onto a high branch. Within seconds, he was safe, but he left Ravi alone on the path. Ravi's heart pounded. There was no time to run, the bear was already approaching. The smell of its breath hit him, a mixture of earth and decay. His knees trembled. He remembered something his father once told him: bears don't eat the dead. If you ever meet one, lie still and don't breathe. So Ravi dropped to the ground, flattening himself among the leaves. He closed his eyes and tried not to move. The bear came closer, sniffing around him. Its wet nose brushed his ear, its claws scratched the dirt beside his hand. Ravi's lungs burned, but he dared not inhale. After what felt like forever, the bear gave a loud snort and turned away. It lumbered off into the trees, disappearing into the shadows. Only when the forest was quiet again did Ravi finally open his eyes and gasp for air. His body shook, not from fear now, but from disbelief. He was alive. High above, Arjun slowly climbed down the tree, his face pale and guilty. "Ravi, you're safe. Thank heavens. I thought it would kill you." Ravi stood up slowly, brushing off the dust. He didn't say anything at first. The look in his eyes made Arjun's throat tighten. "What happened?" Arjun asked, trying to sound casual. "Did it say something to you?" Ravi paused, then smiled faintly. "Yes," he said softly. "The bear whispered something in my ear. It told me to never travel with a friend who runs away in danger." The silence that followed was heavier than any growl. Arjun looked down, ashamed. He wanted to speak, to explain, but there was no excuse that would make sense. Fear had made him forget friendship. They walked in silence after that. The air seemed different now, heavier, sadder. But the story didn't end there. As they continued their journey, the forest slowly gave way to open fields. The sun had started to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Birds returned to their nests, and crickets began their evening chorus. They reached a small stream, where they stopped to drink water. Ravi knelt down, cupping his hands in the cool current. Arjun stood behind, watching him quietly, his guilt eating away at him. Finally, he said, "Ravi, I'm sorry. I was scared. I didn't think, I just ran. Ravi looked at him. I know, but friendship isn't about being there when things are easy. It's about standing together when things are hard. Arjun nodded, his eyes filling with tears. You're right, I wasn't a good friend today. But I'll make it right, I promise. Ravi sighed. Promises are easy to make. Let's see what you do next time. That night, they camped under a tree near the river. The stars shone brightly above them, scattered across the velvet sky. Arjun couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the moment he had abandoned Ravi. It haunted him. Meanwhile, Ravi stared at the stars, thinking not of fear, but of forgiveness. He knew people weren't perfect. Fear made even good men falter. But part of him wondered if their friendship could ever be the same again. The next morning, they woke early and continued walking. The town was just a few miles away. The sun rose behind them, casting long shadows across the road. As they neared the outskirts, they heard shouts. A group of villagers were gathered by the roadside. A wild bull had broken free from its pen and was charging wildly, scattering people in every direction. Children screamed, women ran for cover. The bull's eyes were wild, its horns sharp. It had already overturned a cart. Ravi saw a small boy frozen in the middle of the road, too terrified to move. The bull was heading straight for him. Without thinking, Ravi sprinted forward. Ravi, no, Arjun shouted, but Ravi didn't stop. He grabbed the boy and pushed him aside just as the bull thundered past, its horns grazing Ravi's arm. He fell to the ground, bruised but alive. The villagers rushed forward, pulling the bull away and helping Ravi up. The boy's mother ran to him, tears streaming down her face. You saved my son, she cried. You're a brave man. Ravi smiled weakly. Anyone would have done the same. But Arjun knew that wasn't true. He had seen what anyone would do. He himself had run away from danger once. Later, as they sat under a tree outside the town, Arjun spoke softly. You didn't have to do that, Ravi. You could have been hurt. Ravi shrugged. Maybe, but I couldn't just stand by. Arjun stared at him for a long moment, then said, you really are different. You didn't just teach me what courage looks like, you showed me. Ravi smiled faintly. Courage isn't about being fearless, Arjun. It's about choosing what's right even when you're afraid. Arjun nodded. And friendship is about standing beside someone, no matter what. Ravi looked at him, a hint of warmth returning to his eyes. Maybe you finally understood what the bear was trying to tell us. Arjun chuckled softly, and for the first time since that terrifying encounter, the tension between them melted away. They sold their goods in the town and decided to stay a few days to rest. The townspeople had already begun talking about the brave young man who saved a child from the bull. Ravi didn't care much for the praise, but Arjun did something unexpected. He started telling everyone that Ravi wasn't just his friend but his hero. One evening, as they sat by the riverside watching the sunset, Arjun handed Ravi a small wooden pendant. It was carved in the shape of a bear. What's this? Ravi asked, surprised. A reminder, Arjun said. That I'll never run away again. Ravi held the pendant, smiling. You don't need to prove anything, Arjun. Just be there when it matters. I will, Arjun promised. And this time, Ravi believed him. Years later, the story of the bear and two friends became a favorite among travelers who passed through that forest. People would tell it by the fire at night, about two friends who learned what true friendship meant, not through words, but through courage, forgiveness, and a test of the heart. And somewhere in that same forest, under the whispering leaves, the echo of a bear's growl still lingered, not as a sound of fear, but as a memory of the lesson it left behind. Because sometimes, life doesn't test us when we're ready. It tests us when we least expect it, just to show who truly stands beside us when the shadows fall.